All right. All right. All right. We are back. Well, I say we. A small surprise for today. It's not we, it's just me. But nonetheless, we're going to do this thing. Good day, good Monday, good Labor Day to everyone here. We're going to start like we normally do and kick it off with our top sponsors. We have Arete coming in strong as our title sponsor. FPEA has been with us for a while now. Thank you so much for being with us and joining us on this journey. And thank you to Fisher Precious Metals for coming in as another one of our top sponsors this year. We're excited. We do have more room on that. So if any of you know any corporations or companies that are looking to either benefit the home education community or find themselves in a different tax bracket or just show some love because they appreciate the home education freedoms they have in Florida, let us know. Connect them with us at info@flhef.org, and I can provide them with all the information that they need so that they can join our list of top sponsors too. Without further ado, let's just dive right in, I think. So big face me, I guess, for today. Unfortunately, Crystal is sick, and that's terrible. It means I have a lot of extra stuff to do without her amazing help. She does a wonderful, wonderful job, pretty much keeping me sane. So, and then Brenda is out as well. She has a family thing. So I had planned to go through something with Crystal since she's been kind of helping me do the forum and everything. But in lieu of that, I'll do that with you, and you'll just have to deal with listening to my old voice the whole time. I know we're going to see a viewership drop from that, but hey, it is what it is. I'm here for it. All right. Well, let's dive in. One of the things that she's been dealing with and being in all the different Facebook groups that she's in, fielding comments, she gets tagged in a lot of comments that have to do with either new home education or new PEP families or families with UA. There's a huge trend right now for families that are looking to change the way that they do education in their home, right? Or education, period. And some of it has to do with bringing that education home, or at least taking more control over their options and their choices that they have. And as a result, people start to look at different options, but they just don't. I was talking to someone last night who founded a charter school up here, and we both grew up going to public school. I went to home education like halfway through. It was homeschooling in Alabama, not home education. It was called something different, same thing, but just different words. And I just think that it's normalized. That public school system is just norm. It's the normal path. It is what it is. And everybody just kind of defaults to that, even as in terms of, well, then how do we do homeschooling, right? Is it public school at home? So there's that kind of thought process that we go through. And so being tagged in a million of those different, oh, not really a million, but like there's a bunch of different comments that she gets tagged in, and inevitably people look for help and aid. So they end up going, well, my child has special disabilities that they need help with, and they weren't getting the care in school, so that's why we started doing it. So they then lean toward a UA scholarship, or they go, hey, it would be really nice. This is very expensive. We have 4 kids. What can we do? And then they'll lean toward a PEP scholarship. And then some people don't, but they just want to know, how does it all work? And with all of the information that is getting passed around, like, oh, there's a new acronyms that you have to get used to. There's a letter of intent, and then there's timing, and then what does that mean? Annual evaluation, what does that entail, and how do we do this? There's a lot of information. And our forum is actually a place that can be really, really helpful for 2 things. 1, finding information, but 2, getting help from people on the spot. So one of the really, I'll take you to our forum. Actually, if you go to our homepage, which is where we were a moment ago, and you have different options at the top. The forum is a part of our information service that we offer, and it's under information. And if you hover over that and go down, there's downloadable docs. There's all kinds of helpful resources on the site, but the forum in particular There's a lot of uses for it. We do our legislative updates here. You can connect with evaluators. We've been encouraging as we visit across the state to the different conferences and conventions. We've been encouraging evaluators who are interested in helping home education families to get in here and let it be known that they're available. So we have like a place for that. And this is not something where we promote these particular evaluators. We just want to give them a space and let them kind of mingle with everyone really and say, oh, I can help, or oh, you're not in my area, or I know someone who could do that, etc. Hey, Tracy, thank you. I appreciate that. Ooh. Oh no. I messed my sound up. Sorry. Oh, wait, no, I guess you didn't hear that then. Okay. Anyway, a place for evaluators to connect with everyone, and everyone else to kind of connect and ask questions of each other. This isn't something that we are looking at like, oh, we're going to give you all the right answers. This is just, it's a service area. It's a place for people to go and kind of ask those questions. We all do the live legislative updates here. We do have a generic Q&A, though this has kind of been cannibalized by PEP. I don't want to say cannibalized, but it's kind of been taken over by a lot of PEP questions because that's where a lot of people had questions over it. But we're going to filter through these and move those to the scholarship section as we continue to filter through them. But some of these are, just general advice or volunteer hours. A lot of these look like they're PEP. But here's some graduation timing and PEP questions. This area was meant to be a little bit more of an FAQ, like a general question. So I'll have her go through and clean that up whenever she gets better. There's a new to home education area. So, and the real reason I'm showing this is because there's some helpful information here. And if you're looking for ways to help share, or someone is asking questions and you're in a Facebook group and you're getting kind of mixed answers, or you feel like you just really want a trusted source of information, you can either go to the top and you can grab a URL to one of the forum posts. They're all forward facing. They're all publicly accessible. You don't have to have a login to see them. So when you share them, they can help anyone who you share them with. If you want to comment or ask your own questions and dive in, then you will need to set up a membership, but it's free. There's no charge for any of that. But you can either share the URL by just copying it from the top, or you can go down to one of the posts and you can click on share link, and it will give you a way to, it'll copy the link to your clipboard to that direct post. So there's lots of useful, helpful information that can be found in the forum. And, if you're in one of these groups and, you start to kind of see either answers that you scratch your head at, or you're like, I'm not so sure, or this doesn't make sense, or isn't there somewhere on this that we've seen? Thank you, Christina. Yeah, we hope she gets better, and safe travels for Brenda as well. We appreciate that. Appreciate you saying that. We just hope that this is a resource. There's laws, questions, and answers. There's urgent issues. We haven't put anything in here right now, so this is when urgent issues do arise. This is where we'll dump them so that parents can easily, and we're going to keep this one clear. There will be no PEP stuff in here. This will just be urgent issues during legislative session or otherwise if something becomes urgent. So, but yeah, there's a section in our forum for parents of children with special needs to connect and share experience, resources, ideas. And so you can get in there and mingle. This isn't meant to be a replacement of your Facebook groups. By all means, do those. I've actually invited one of the larger Facebook groups for UA families. I've invited their admin to come and kind of help participate in this, so that if families do want to come over here and also share with each other, that they can. We've been traveling the state at all the conventions and conferences, and so people are, we talk about our forum with them, and they see it as a resource. So this is a good place to go, and if you're interested in being helpful to others who are coming on board, this is the place to do that. We also have a place for our AHEF ambassadors, so people who are interested in being a part of helping us, volunteering. They can introduce yourselves. Katie Lane. Katie's been in our Facebook live streams a lot. She's always on the jump with new things that we're trying to do, and we really appreciate her. and Kim Godfrey's in here as well. There's so many. So, take a look there. Switching gears. There's one of the things I was talking to someone messaged our Facebook page over the weekend or just before the weekend, asking about there's like a private scholarship program for football and things like that. And they thought that there needed to be better representation for homeschool families among those, and that they needed to make considerations for them because the things that they were asking for in terms of report cards and stuff like that for them to be recognized are not stuff that home education or homeschool families really do for their kids. It's not a part of what's required. It's not how we keep track of things. And so they felt that it was kind of unfairly discriminating against them. And I thought, well, if you think that, keep pursuing it. There's nothing by statute that really impacts to push back on. By the end of the weekend, she messaged me back and was like, well, I'm getting involved. I'm going to join the leadership board and see if I can't do something about this. And I was just taken aback, very encouraged by that level of what's the word? Gung-ho impetus, that drive to get involved and to be a change. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. And, I would like for more families to be able to tell their story about things like that, the things that they do. So that's one of the ideas behind the Tell Your Story project for home education. I think she has 4 children, several of which were on UA, and I think one may have been on PEP or something like that. So hats off to her. Her child wasn't getting the care that he or she needed, and so she pulled them and was able to give them that care by directing their education personally and taking that. So that's huge. And then also getting involved at this level to make change for other home education families. I think that's brilliant. So I encourage you to share this with others so that we can capture some of those testimonies and share them out. There is a very real shortage of inspiration. I meant to grab, let me see if I can find it real fast. I meant to grab a article that I saw. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here we go. 4 days ago? No way. Oh my word. So I saw, this is crazy. I saw this article more than 4 days ago. It was like a couple of weeks ago. Just look at this. Look at this, man. It's constant. I'll just show you a smattering of articles real quick. August 22nd. Yeah. Here we go. Look, this is, because you might think I'm making this up, but I'm not. And I'm going to illustrate to you why this is so stinking important. Yeah. Okay. So here's 3 articles ranging from 2 weeks ago almost to now. And this is just the ones that I could very rapidly pull up. But school choice and a history of segregation collide as one Florida county shutters its rural schools. That was the one a bit ago. School choice and reject all. See you, nerds. School choice and a history of segregation collide as one Florida. This is a different one, AP. And then here's another one. School choice and a history of segregation collide as one Florida. Like, it's the same article perhaps at different places, though I would imagine it's a little bit different. But essentially the article goes on to talk about how homeschooling is another wave of white supremacy and segregation that's hitting our country, especially Florida, and blah, blah, blah. And as I travel around, man, it's laughable. It's absolutely laughable, but it's scary because they're literally just trying to cram this narrative down people's throats. This isn't journalism. This isn't news. This is propaganda. And it's disturbing. And with all of this, they're trying to give home education a face. And what I would like to do is to let the diversity of faces be the face of home education. And I'd like for people to be able to see that and see people from all walks of life. Like I saw at the conventions and the conferences as we traveled around Florida, there was so many families doing so many things in so many different ways, and their children are blossoming for it and growing for it. And it's sad that there are people who just want to shut it down because they're, it's not the way they've known, or they can't think that is outside the box and they don't know how to think outside the box. And that's not our problem. And it shouldn't be, but it is, because legislators who don't fully understand homeschooling, they think public school is public school and homeschool is public school just at home, right? And they don't understand that it's different. And I would love to get story submissions from families all across Florida in all different areas and walks of life, so that they can see that this propaganda machine that's going to keep pumping out all of these messages, there's a counter voice to that, and that voice is yours. And I would like to give that a place on our YouTube channel, to make a playlist. We can pump those out. Maybe if we can get enough donations and support coming in, we might be able to throw some advertising dollars behind some of those to pump them, put those out and broadcast them even further. At the very least, we look for opportunities like Mr. D. Math, who came home to share his audience with us and ours with him, in order to kind of like amplify those stories and signals. Brevard Evaluations, Julie says, agree, disturbing. Homeschoolers are more diverse, seeking the best individualized choices for their children and families. Absolutely. Yes, 100%. And I want to make that clear right now. I mean, aside from this, right now, there's just a bunch of advertising. There's a bunch of advertising. Homeschooling is hard, but with our program, you can homeschool with ease and blah, blah, blah. We'll do it for you. And I'm like, between the bad articles and all the advertisements that are getting pumped out that are like that, I don't think the representatives who have absolutely no experience with homeschooling actually know what to think of home education. It's very difficult to argue like, oh, this is home education, when they have nothing to point to as a way of referencing it. So I would love to just encourage people to get in here. There's a whole list of things that you can do and add, and it would love to hear your voices shining through with all of the different walks of life and approaches. I have been speaking your site up to all my clients this year. I will now encourage others to submit their stories to you too. Thank you. Yes, please. Absolutely. Thank you. This is probably one of the most important projects that we tried to get a grant for this project as well. And I think we were in the top, out of over 100, I think we were in like the top 20 or 30 who made it through to the final round, but they didn't pick our project. So I still think it's critical, given the trends and the time and what's happening. But and I appreciate you guys commenting, because it's very lonely being a talking head without my team. And I figure that y'all don't really want to hear from me too much, so I'll drone on just for a few more minutes, and then we'll call it a day. But thank you guys for being with me. There's a handful of you, and I appreciate it. I'm hoping that this video can be cut to something that's useful and helpful to share. We do also have our recognition wall where we say thank you to our supporters. And Brevard Homeschool Evaluations, you're on here. Let me find you. Where are you? There you are, right here. Right here. Thank you. Take it. Wait, no, that's not yours. This is yours right here. Thank you. There's three evaluations. You're here. I appreciate you, all of you guys, for being here and being with us. And thank you to all of our supporters, to HEF. Saints is on here. I love running into them. They're great. And I think this page has been so useful because I had a lot of people who are, they contact us trying to start up new. Oh, thank you, Sue. Congratulations on the new grandbaby. That's so exciting. I can't believe you're with us today. Thank you. Thank you for stopping in. There's so many of these are useful because when people ask how they can get involved, this is probably one of the best ways, obviously, if they have a business, because we both benefit. But also it allows me to talk to people who are starting things and them to see that all of these businesses, and they go, wow, I didn't know. And I'm like, yeah, it's really cool. There's a lot that kind of goes on, and there's a lot more to come. But I think they take for granted because they don't see homeschooling on the front page unless it's being blasted, I guess. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and this is huge. This makes a huge difference. This is one of the huge reasons why we're able to do what we do. So thank you to all of you. I don't have anything additional to add. Okay, maybe this. If there are families, there's businesses and then there's families. If you're able to support, here's one of the best ways that you can. One of the things that we do, HEF, the Home Education Foundation, we lobby for parent-directed education rights. That's a lot of work. And when we're not lobbying, which is influencing legislation, so very specifically lobbying is down to trying to influence the legislation. And we do have a couple of meetings throughout the year where that happens, primarily when we're in committees and we're in Tallahassee, walking the Capitol actively. That's very obviously lobbying. But then there are all kinds of times throughout the year where we're working with FHSAA, or we're sitting on the board meetings there, and we travel to Gainesville, or we're working with colleges that are trying to they're new to helping homeschooling families with dual enrollment or other things, and they're trying to figure things out, and we'll kind of come in and build a bridge for them to work with the DOE and the homeschool families and get their articulation agreements and all kinds of stuff like that. There's so many things that we do throughout the rest of the year that are advocacy. Parents, we had one mom whose son was marked truant, even though he shouldn't have been, because the county did something they weren't supposed to do. So all of the relationship building that we do when we're lobbying became useful because we had people we could call and activate and get them on that and get that fixed relatively quickly, even though her son's license was suspended. So it's a huge. There's a lot of things that we're able to do in the background that are in addition to lobbying. And so this goes to fund all of the work that we do. Our nonprofit kind of holds and hosts all of that extra work that we do, that's not very specifically lobbying. If you want to find more information about our lobbying efforts, you can go to About HEF and HEFX. HEFX is Connect. And then you can click on HEF Lobbying. I might split these into two little menu items. So I might split HEF and HEF Connect and just put them on opposite ends so that people can see that they're separate. But here's a lot more information about the history of lobbying and home education in Florida. This is a very useful page if you really want to share it to people when they say, well, who is HEF and what do they do? The Home Education Foundation in particular, this is kind of the history of it. So it's flhef.org/HEF. And this is really kind of a testimony or a testament to Brenda and all the work that she's done over the years. What parent-directed education means, that the freedoms are important. There's a message from Brenda herself. Here's some of our core values, what we stand for, and how we approach a critical message. Help us fund it. Meet the lobbyists. I have to update that picture. Some of our top sponsors that help us with all of that, and then some of the additional history. So it's there's a lot of resources in the site that are really, really helpful. And I just kind of today wanted to go through some of that since I don't have my team with me to discuss other things and feed off of each other. But appreciate you guys being with us. We're going to go ahead and call today to a close. Enjoy your Labor Day, and make those memories. And if you can, really, really, really help us with the Tell Your Story project. Help us get that word out there so that we can collect the stories of home education families and all of the diversity that's there and all of the unique ways and people and methods that we use to kind of show that the world is our classroom and remove those walls and educate everywhere. So, all right. Well, without anything further, I appreciate all of y'all being with us. We're going to call today to a close. We actually hit our top sponsors one more time. We have Arete, FPEA, and Fisher Precious Metals. We thank you all for being with us. We hope you guys have a wonderful wonderful Labor Day. And be safe out there.